Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. As you can see, here in Lithuania we are having a crocus bloom. Lots of yellow crocuses, purple crocuses. We have a lot of whites, but they haven't bloomed yet. I don't know why they're a little bit later, but very beautiful. I also found some time to cut up some firewood for my neighbor, and here's a couple updates on last week's episode about the molehills. So, molehills chapter 2. You can see a big difference from what it looked like a few days ago versus now. It just took a lot of back-breaking work, kneeling down with a hand spade and a bucket. Obviously you can still see some dirt patches out there. Honestly, once we get a little bit of rain and the grass starts to grow, you won't even notice them. But again, I just get down on my hands and knees and put a little bit of the dirt back in the tunnel just to keep some integrity to the soil. But you got to remember, if you push too much dirt back into the tunnel, they're just going to push it right back out. They don't care about the molehills, they care about the tunnels, and if there's something blocking their tunnels, they'll just push it right back up. So it's a battle you're not going to win. Unfortunately, again, it's temporary. I definitely have active moles out here. I might wake up tomorrow morning and there might be 10 new hills, but at this point in the year I can keep up with it. Again, as I said in my last video, I don't want to kill them. I'd love for them to leave, but I don't want to kill them with traps or poisons, so I've kind of made my peace with living with moles or cormorants. There goes Pippa. I wish she could get rid of a few of them too, but we've trained her not to dig. So talk to you on the next clip. Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing about my molehill project. As I said, I don't poke all the dirt back in the hole that came out of the hole, so I've got a lot of excess dirt when I'm done with this. That's why I carry the bucket. What do they say in life? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So I take all that excess dirt and I just fill in some low spots in my yard. Works out pretty good. March 11th, national holiday here in Lithuania. So you can see people got the flags out. This particular holiday is for the anniversary of the Constitution being reenacted after independence in 90 or 91. It's not required by law that you put out the Lithuanian flag on national holidays, but it's highly encouraged. If you don't put one out, I'm sure your neighbors will say something to you. I do actually put out the US flag on US holidays here. My neighbors are pretty open-minded and understanding people. There's probably quite a few people here that don't really want to see a US flag hanging out, but I do it nonetheless. I am an American, and it's a struggle at times, but I'm still proud to be an American, and I'll continue to put out the US flag on holidays here. Hi everyone, Saturday, March 15th, absolutely gorgeous day. This morning we had about -6, kind of a frosty morning, frost everywhere. It's probably about maybe freezing now. We're supposed to get up to maybe +3 today. Very little wind, so can't complain. We had some amazing weather last weekend, right after I kind of posted my last video, but we were, I think on one day it was like +13 and another day +15. Absolutely amazing. I wouldn't call it summer-like, but it was definitely spring-like. Definitely hearing some spring-type birds and songs from the birds. So I would say spring is officially here. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit more snow. Certainly going to get a lot more frosty mornings and cold weather, but no complaints here. Very nice. I think in this part of the video I want to talk about a couple things. Couple things are just small little house cleaning items, but I did want to mention, I'm sure many of you have noticed there's kind of a volume problem with some of my, or most of my videos, where maybe when I'm talking it's hard to hear me, and then it gets really loud when it goes to the music. I can promise you that when I'm editing my videos, and even after I'm done editing them, I save it as a full video and watch it again before I even post it to YouTube. And I'm promising you that the volume is steady and consistent. It's the same level. There is none of this quiet and loud thing. It only seems to happen when I upload to YouTube. I don't know what's going on with that. It's probably the same thing that you might notice when you're watching normal TV. The commercials are crazy loud and then the program is quiet. I don't know. But another thing I did want to mention is I found out recently you can turn on subtitles in these YouTube videos. I'll try to show a screenshot here in a second, but I find that helpful on some of the videos that I watch, and honestly helpful on some of my own videos. When I watch myself, I can't sometimes quite understand what I just said, and the subtitles seem to pick it up pretty well. But on to what I really wanted to talk about today. And I'll just kind of scratch the surface because there's always things to talk about, but I'd like to talk about Lithuanian culture. And by no means am I an expert, and honestly, if you really want to low down on Lithuania and a lot of the other information, you can just go to Wikipedia. They probably do a better job than I do, but there's probably some things I can mention that you won't find on Wikipedia. But you know, culture is kind of a gray area, you know. Obviously, and there's an American culture, but then there's, you know, all these other cultures. You know, where I grew up in northern Wisconsin kind of had its own culture. It's going to be different than the culture you might find in the Northeast or the California culture, but these are all subcultures. You know, hip-hop culture. You can go on and on and on, but generally each country or each place really has a culture that kind of defines them. But here in Lithuania, there's not quite as much diversity as all these subcultures in the US, but you know, I'll start with the people. I mean, the people are great. Generally, no matter where you go in the world, you're going to find good people. You're going to find some probably not so good people. But you know, the people here are great, and generally speaking, you know, they call them the Baltic states or the Baltic sisters. There's Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and it seems like as you go from north to south, you know, the people are going to be different. If you're talking about Estonia, you're not going to get much emotion or anything out of those people. They're almost like people from Finland, very, very stone-faced and reserved. Whereas if you move south, you get to Latvia, people are a little more outgoing and loud. And then here in Lithuania, definitely the most outgoing and loud of the Baltic states. I would say people here aren't quite as loud as Americans can be, but beyond that, I think that you know, it's worth mentioning that Lithuania is a predominantly Catholic country. But that being said, there's a lot of pagan beliefs and culture here. I'm pretty certain Lithuania was the last country in Europe to be Christianized. And, you know, again, even though they're Catholic, there's an awful lot of pagan customs that just won't go away here. And I think it's great. It's not a criticism. But, you know, a lot of superstitions. You know, you can't shake hands with somebody over the threshold of a door is bad luck. And I could sit here for an hour and talk about all the superstitions here in Lithuania, which again, it's great. You'll see a lot of references to witches. Witches are kind of a good thing here. Good luck. But as far as you know, other things, I think, you know, food definitely defines a culture. And, you know, in a lot of my videos, I do show some food and talk about Lithuanian food. and I certainly don't do it justice. There's a lot of foods here that are Lithuanian that I haven't talked about. Some of those foods have kind of just become Lithuanian. I don't think they started out as Lithuanian. They were kind of adopted from other countries. There's something here called a shakotas. It's kind of a sweet dessert. It's just a very sweet egg-based batter that they drip in front of a fire, and they keep turning this spit, and you know, it eventually cooks. It's an interesting thing, but it's very Lithuanian. I think originally it probably started in France, but beyond the traditional Lithuanian things, you know, which again you've seen a lot of potato-based dishes, cold beet soup, otherwise known as shalti barshi. Americans call it Pepto-Bismol because that's what it looks like. The list goes on, but as far as other things, you know, other cuisines, you can get pretty much anything here if you want Mexican or Chinese or, you know, some of these others. You can get it here. You know, honestly, you're not going to get as much selection as in America. You know, I've had Mexican food here, and you know, honestly, it's probably better just to make it at home. Same with the Chinese. It's okay. Now, Asian food, there's a restaurant here called Manami, and it's not Chinese as such, but it's Asian, and that's excellent. But anyhow, I'm getting a bit off topic, but I'm just trying to paint a picture of, you know, it's not just potatoes and beets here. There's a lot of different things people, and of course in the big cities, people go out for dinner and hit the town. It's a little bit different like where I live or outside of the cities. People kind of stay kind of close to home. Yeah, there's a little bit of that trash that I was mentioning in one of my videos a while back. Just randomly, somebody stops and just throws trash. It would have been just as easy to drive into town and throw it in a dumpster, but anyhow, you know, that is a good reference to culture. I mean, the vast majority of people here are very close to nature, would never do anything like that, but you always got that small handful of people that are just not on the same page. But enough about the food. Alcohol is a good topic to talk about, maybe an interesting thing to talk about, because you know, it's changing a lot, and it's changing quickly, but honestly, you know, there's still a bit of an alcohol problem here, you know, that lingers back from Soviet times. Now, where I grew up and places that I lived, Wisconsin, Iowa, you know, we had plenty of beer alcoholics or drunks. But I don't remember ever meeting anybody that was an alcoholic to like vodka or something hard like that. Where here, there's plenty of alcoholics. It's getting less and less. It's getting better. But alcoholics here, they're hardcore. I mean, it is vodka, and that's the primary thing. I'm sure there's other things. But again, it's kind of a legacy from the Soviet times. I will say that I'm very proud of the younger generation here. I think people younger than, let's say, 40, they're not like that at all. I mean, generally, a lot of them don't drink at all. They might just have one, you know, specialty beer or a glass of wine. Very smart. I'm very proud of people like my daughter, not really hitting the alcohol. No alcohol or non-alcohol drinks here, whether it be, you know, cocktails or beer, are very popular. You'd be surprised how many people drink non-alcoholic drinks here. I actually have non-alcoholic beer every once in a while. Just if I've got to drive the next morning or something, I want a beer, so I'll have non-alcoholic. But one more thing, actually, I forgot to mention about the food. I'm jumping back and forth, but you'd also be surprised how many vegetarians there are here in Lithuania. It really surprised me. But back to the alcohol thing again. It's getting much better, and they're trying to change things just to you know, maybe suppress some of the popularity of alcohol here. They have certain hours or restricted hours where you can buy alcohol. I think you can't buy it before 10 a.m. and I don't remember the latest you can buy, but on Sundays the latest you can buy alcohol is 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So again, they're just trying to get people to kind of sober up and get ready for the week. You can't buy alcohol on the first day of school. I'm not really sure what good that does, but they're trying to send out a message. As far as language, you know, a lot of people ask me what language do they speak in Lithuania, and you know, I kind of laugh. It's not a stupid question, but the answer is they speak Lithuanian. Obviously there's people here that also speak Russian. Pretty much if anybody's over the age of, let's say, 45, you're going to speak Lithuanian and Russian. Most people under the age of, let's say, 40 also speak English. So it depends on, you know, the age and obviously the, you know, the education. You know, somebody that maybe went a little further in university might be better in English than somebody that didn't. But you also might be wondering, what is my skill set, or how are my language skills? I understand Lithuanian pretty good. I don't speak it quite as well. I'm mainly just nervous that I'll make mistakes. It's a complicated language, but you know, I'd put my skill level at Lithuanian at maybe like a 2 or 3 year old. You know, I can understand a lot if it's not real big words, as long as somebody's speaking slowly and clearly. I can also speak a little bit, but like I said, if I'm in a store where they don't speak English, they only speak Lithuanian, I manage. You know, sometimes I make mistakes. I see some people kind of laughing at my language skills, but overall, the culture here is wonderful. It's a good fit for me. It may not be a good fit for other people or other foreigners, but I love it, and I'm sure there's plenty more to talk about when it comes to culture, things like art, music. I won't get into all that, but just wanted to give you a high-level sense. So hope that wasn't too relaxing for you. I didn't use the word boring.